Okay, in this video I'm going to go over how I replaced my front driver's airbag after a small fender bender. As you can see, there's no damage to the front of the car. I haven't repaired the car. This is just how much damage there is to the car. But when that happened, when the airbag went off, the front drivers and passengers seatbelts also were activated by the airbag system. So I had to send the airbag control module and both front seatbelts to a company called Safety Restore to be repaired. So I will go over how I did that in this video. Okay, we have a Rogue with 2011 Rogue with a airbag that has exploded. I've actually already pulled the airbag out of here so that I could actually drive the car, actually remove the airbag itself from inside the steering wheel. But for now, we're actually going to take this unit out and we're going to pop in this new unit right here that I got from eBay. And I got it from a supplier on eBay that guarantees that this is still a good unit. So we're going to just pop this one out and pop the new one in. It's actually pretty easily done. There's just these two screws that screw in here and here that attach it to the car. And then there are three cables. This is a cable that connects to the controls on the steering wheel, and then we have two connectors that connect the actual airbag to the car. So let's do it. So the first thing you're going to need is this, and this is a T30 driver that will disconnect these screws that are right down here on the sides. I don't know if you can't really see that well. Maybe pull the camera off here real quick for a second. And you can see right in here that there are these little caps right here. And we're just going to pull these little caps off. Just take a driver or something like that in there and then pop this little cap off. And there's one on the other side. So you got these two little caps, and you'll see in there that that's a Torx. So this is a Torx, a T30 Torx, and that goes in there, and that actually just fits right in there. So we're going to undo one of these on each side. I just did it with a screwdriver handle, but if you have a Torx that can fit to a ratchet, you can also pull it off like that. So for right now, I'm going to... Okay, good. So now basically I'm just going to put my driver on here, and I'm going to back up those T30 screws. There's, like I said, there's one on each side. They're not too long, but it takes a minute or two to get those out. Just gonna unscrew that one, and we'll do the one on the other side. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just basically unscrewing both. Okay, so now I got the two screws undone. So this unit should pull out. Now, there's the first screw that came out. This is what it looks like. Like I said, it's a T30, and it's not just a T30. As you can see from this, I'm not sure you can see it. It's a security T30. So you have to have the kind of driver that has the little hole here so that you can pull that out. Hopefully that's nice and in focus. But anyway, so there's the one side. And I'm gonna pop this one out the other side, and there we go. And that just pops out like that. You just pull it up from the bottom. Just be careful not to pull too hard, because you're gonna have all your connectors here. Now, like I said, I've already popped this out so I could pull the airbag out. The actual airbag's actually removed from this unit so I could drive the car in the meantime. And there's this connector right here, which I think I'm gonna need a pair of pliers to get that off of there. Just use a pair of little grippers here to grip that connector. Oops, let's get that out of there. And that just pulls out of there like that. So got that connector out of there. And so there's the old airbag. As you can see, between the two different ones, I have removed the actual airbag unit out of here because it was sticking out this top part. It was too hard to drive. So I just unscrewed those four screws, removed the old airbag unit and the bag itself so I could drive the car. So now we're going to toss this one. And I made sure that I bought an identical unit to fit in my car. You just go on eBay, and they've got lots of different choices to make sure that you get the right unit. And so basically I'm just gonna pop that right back into there. Okay, so what I've learned is that the connector is actually going like this. So it's actually, technically, I had to hold it upside down to be able to connect this in. I guess I forgot that when I did it originally. So I pulled this little black piece back. I'm not sure if you can see that really good. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so you actually pull this little black piece back so that it'll connect. So you push this in the connector, push that in all the way, and then snap the black thing in. And let's do the same thing for the orange. Again, I gotta pull this little black connector back. Pop the little black connector back. Right like that. Hopefully that's in focus. And then I'm using the little app over here, but pull that back and then connect the orange. Same way. So goes in there like that. Snap it all the way in and then snap that in. Okay, so now our airbag is connected. And then we're gonna connect the controls for the audio, and that just pops right back there into that connector spot right in here. Okay, just make sure your cables aren't going to get pinched or anything when we're putting it back in there. And just pop that in there like that. Okay, so you kind of put the top in first, and let me back this out a little bit more. So you put the top in first, and then you kind of squeeze the bottom in. You'll know you're good when you can push the top and it beeps. Okay, so now I go back and take my 2 screws, and we're going to put one in on each side again. Okay, we just screw that in. Just take that, screw that in there nice and tight. Do the other side. I still have an airbag warning on the dash here, and that sucks. So I guess I've got to get that cleared somehow. Okay, after I replaced the airbag and realized that the airbag warning light didn't go out, I did a little research and I found out that I probably have a problem with my airbag warning system still. So I took it to Nissan and they scanned the car, and it turns out that my airbag control module has to be reset, and then both my front seat belts also needed to be reset. So you can either go to the car manufacturer and buy these, which are very expensive, or you could go to this company right here called Safety Restore. I found them after doing some research, and you can take both your seat belts out and your airbag control module out, send it off to them, and a week later or so you get your stuff back and you reinstall it in the car, and hopefully your airbag warning light will go out, which means your airbag system is fully functional. So the way this company works is you take your stuff out, you prepay, you put the receipt in the box, you ship it off to them, and they ship it back to you with a fancy certificate basically saying your components are back like new. So that's what I did, and I will continue with the repair with the stuff that I've gotten back from Safety Restore. Okay, I just got my seat belts back from Safety Restore, and they have reset the charges in both the pretensioners and the belt locks, and this is how I got them back from them. There's one issue though. So as you can see, this is the pretensioner for the passenger side, and this is the driver's side, and you can see that the cable for the passenger side was never pulled because there wasn't a passenger in that. So I guess it somehow knows not to pull it, even though that charge went off, or that the sensor went off. So in this one, there was a driver in the seat, so it pulled. The explosive charge goes off, I understand, pulls this way, the cable gets retracted into the pretensioner and creates tension on the seatbelt. Well, you know, I saw this when I got it, and I thought Safety Restore was going to restore the cable to the length as it is on the passenger side here, and they told me that sometimes they just cannot restore the cable length. Basically, it's stuck in the tube, and they can't fix it, and they've offered me a partial refund because they were not able to completely restore this pretensioner to the way it was on the factory, or even the way it is on the passenger side. So I'm just going to have to reinstall it the way it is, and that side just won't have as much pretension as I have from factory as it is on the passenger side. So I've asked them, and they said it's still safe. We just going to reinstall it like that. So we have our pretensioners. We got our belt lock for our passenger side, our belt lock for our driver's side, and all of the devices have been restored and the charges reset from Safety Restore. Now I just have to install them into the car. Okay, now here inside the car, this is where the passenger side pretensioner goes, and then the passenger side belt lock goes up here. And then of course it has to be attached to the belt. Shoulder strap has to be attached up here. So I get the 3 points to reattach: the tensioner, the belt lock, and then the shoulder strap connector up top. And then of course we got the passenger side, and I got the same thing on the driver's side. So we got the tensioner, the let me zoom in there, see if I get that a little bit better. The pre-tensioner down below, the belt lock, and then of course the shoulder strap. You can maybe see it a little bit better there. So all 3 components have been taken out to send it back to Safety Restore. Now we're going to put it in the car, attach all those cables. There's a cable for the pretensioner, which cable for the belt lock, and we have one of those on each side. After that's all installed, I have also got my airbag module back from Safety Restore, which clears the codes and resets it, and that gets installed back in here like this. So that's going to get installed, but I'm not going to install that until I have installed the all the seat belt connectors, reinstalled the seat belts. The front driver's airbag has already been installed, so that one's ready to go. But we'll have to see if it all works. Let's see if my airbag warning light goes out after it's all done. Okay, so we have the pre-tensioner reinstalled in on the driver's side. I'll zoom in on the pre-tensioner there. Got the pre-tensioner. It's one bolt that kind of comes in from the side there, and then we got the seat lock, belt lock installed right above that, and then we've got the shoulder strap bolted back in up top. That's the driver's side, and there's a there's an orange connector for the pre-tensioner, and then a yellow connector in this car for the seatbelt lock, and I'll show it to you closer on this side. Again, on this side we've got the I'll show you the bolt that comes through. This is the bolt. Let's zoom back a little bit. Okay, so this is the bolt that holds the pre-tensioner in place, and there's the orange connector that goes in for the pre-tensioner. And then we've got the bolt here that holds in the seatbelt lock, and then we've got the bolt over here that bolts it in at the shoulder position hookup. So, and let me see if I can show you where. It's kind of hard to show you where the seatbelt lock connects because it's kind of deep inside there. But anyway, here's the cable for the seatbelt lock here, and you got to make sure you put that on before. So I can get that in there to show you. You got to put that on there before you actually bolt it in, because it's just too hard to connect and disconnect the yellow one before you do that. So, and then of course I have my airbag module reinstalled in here, and where you have to take out the whole center console basically to get this thing out, which was a pain in the ass, but gave me a chance to like clean up under there and clean up all that stuff. So that's it. I've reinstalled my seatbelt components, which is a 2-stage. It has a pre-tensioner and it has a seatbelt lock, and that's been sent to safety restore and returned and installed. And then did one of those on each side. They both have 2 stages, a pretensioner and a seatbelt lock. And then I've reinstalled my module right there. Now I've just got to put all this paneling back in the car, both to cover the seat belts and to go put the center console back in, which is all right here, which will be a pain, but I'll get it in. Okay, here goes the moment of truth. Now that I have the front airbag installed that I got from LKQ on eBay, and I have both the front drivers and passenger seatbelt pretensioners and seatbelt locks restored at Safety Restorer and reinstalled. We'll see when we turn this on whether or not the airbag light goes off. Okay, so the ignition's on. Airbag light is on. I guess it's checking. And boom! There it is. It's off. Start off to make sure we're good. Okay, good. Airbag light out. That looks great. Okay, it worked. All right, Safety Restore came through.